State-owned enterprises have featured predominantly in the ongoing Zondo Commission into state capture. That's hardly surprising, isn't it, considering allegations of political interference in most of them. Their boards of directors were meant to safeguard the public's interest, but that's not happening, with politics playing a big part in their work. Some have called for SOE boards to have greater autonomy. Eskom, Transnet, South African Airways and the SABC have all had their share of chaos, and the SABC's interim board is on the verge of continuing this trend just over a year after it was appointed. Chairperson of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications, Hlengiwe Mkhize, is here to tell us what she thinks the problem at the public broadcaster is. And economist and social commentator Khaya Sithole gives us an insight into what's gone so wrong with SOE boards. Very warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think's going wrong there?
Overall, or
with the SABC board and the resignations, and what's behind all of that? What should we know?
yeah, well, you know, I was just listening to your opening remarks, saying maybe you said political interference and so on. It's very difficult to attribute these challenges in our SOEs to one aspect. I think basically there could be a variety of reasons, but with regard to the SABC, we even issued a statement that, you know, we still aspire to have an opportunity to have these people interviewed when they leave, because I'm sure they have different reasons why they're leaving. All what we can do is to speculate and say when we met with them, these were issues on the table with the last two meetings and they didn't come to the party. We had some have resigned.
And the new communications minister hasn't had a good relationship with them in the short time that she's been in the job.
Yeah.
Is that going to have an impact?
No, but I thought it's an exaggeration. You know, she came through to a committee, portfolio committee, on a Tuesday. They were there. We had an open discussion where members of parliament were all unanimous with regard to the questions we're raising or putting to them. She was there. We know she was introduced, the minister, and then she left. On the following day, they met with her. And I suppose from what I hear, she was shocked that the very things that the portfolio committee was unanimous on, they continued along the same line, as though nothing has been said. I think that triggered off a reaction, whatever it was. And I don't think we can attribute the resignation to really that one encounter.
What do you make of what happened and what's going on here behind the scenes?
Look, I think when we talk about the SABC in particular and other state-owned enterprises, what really seems to be at the epicenter of the problem is the tensions that exist between the directors and their fiduciary duty, and the reality that actually most of them only get appointed to those positions on the basis of affiliation. So this is an open secret, as it were. So in the SABC example, for example, SABC exhibit, for example, you know that even the chairperson of the SABC was someone who was affiliated to a politically aligned foundation, the Bongi Zuma Foundation, as it were. You had Phoebe Potgieter-Kubule, who was on the board of the SABC, but also was, an office bearer in the ANC. Krish Naidu was a member of the SABC, but also at the same time as the legal advisor to the ANC. So this is an open secret. And the issue is that there's nothing wrong in particular with people of a political affiliation being elevated to those particular posts. The question is, when we do elevate them, do we still strike the right balance between them understanding what their fiduciary responsibilities are, and also them saying...
And what is their fiduciary responsibility?
Well, of course, the fiduciary responsibility, unfortunately, in the capitalist society is that the organization must be financially sustainable. If there is no financial sustainability, everything else pales into comparison. So
so when we've got these ruptions happening, I mean, how do you ensure that the company, therefore, is financially sustainable if you feel that you can't do your job or there's insecurity, uncertainty in the board?
Yeah, well, maybe let me pick up on this one as well. You know, objectivity, good governance practice and fairness, I think even if people are appointed through political processes, given their maturity or their degree of seniority, one will assume those will be sacrosanct. They will know that I'm in this position.
You will assume?
Yeah, normally,
Yeah.
even if you are, you know, I was a commissioner.
happening though, is
I
it?
was a commissioner of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, fairly young, but I got to that position. I knew what it meant, and I knew how I should conduct processes, because in the context we are talking about, the SABC, I think governance is fundamental. You wouldn't say, because I'm associated with this political party or this affiliation, then I should compromise on this one. And also pushing for the economic growth within the company and the support and empowerment of workers. Those are some of the fundamentals that you have to defend, irrespective.
But sadly, it's not happening, is it?
And the reality is that, unfortunately, we have seen historically that these board members tend to feel undue pressure from the political principals to say, but we put you in this position because there's a policy stance that we wanted to pursue. Now, of course, you now being a board member, you should be able to align whatever the organization is doing with the policy stance of the party that put you in there. And of course, in most instances, what you then find is that the party's political stance is not based on economic fundamentals. So for them, if they say, we as a political party do not believe that retrenchment should occur, that is a political party position. But if I am as a board member,
up to the board,
and then I get there and then I discover that we cannot sustain this level of operations with this workforce, I should be able to retrench the people. And you want the political position to be more responsive to the economic position rather than the other way around. Otherwise, you really just perpetuate this inevitable question of saying, well, if this thing is not financially sustainable, how do we keep it going? And this is why bailouts have become such a common feature of the South African governance system, because literally you've got this tension with people saying that this is how to do it financially, but if you do the financial aspect of it, you've got a political liability. So therefore, how do you balance the two? Well, you just simply get the taxpayer to come and bail us out.
So what is the way forward then? I mean, clearly the political weight, pressure on these boards is not working. How do you remove the politics from these boards?
No, but first of all, I really want to dispute that. Because let's take the issue of the SABC. All political representatives in the committee were in agreement on one thing, that we understand you want to embark on a Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act, but we will support on condition we get the skills audit and you convince us how do you identify those that you want to get rid of, because we don't want a culture where you get rid of those you don't like in any way within the organization. So we felt that was a fair position. And all political parties represented in the committee were unanimous. So if a person doesn't want to do that, and I think that is fundamental, that's why we have even the CCMA in democracy, really fairness and a sense of social justice in whatever you do, especially when you touch jobs. It's something which no public representative will turn a blind eye to. So there was no pressure in terms of saying, within our political party, this is the line of march.
We're going to have to leave it there. My apologies, we run out of time. Hlengiwe Mkhize, Khaya Sithole, thank you. That's our show for tonight. News is next.